Hi everyone, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather, and I hope you're ready to look at some really incredible Horween leather today. I wanted to go over an all-reverse shell Cordovan Giant of the Fox and explain what the reverse shell Cordovan is. Before we get to that, let's take a quick look, a little preview at some of the stuff that's shipping out. I have an Amaretto shell Cordovan key fob. I have our last Amaretto shell Cordovan with color 8 shell interior Giant of the Fox, a black marbled shell Cordovan Giant of the Fox, a color number 4 shell Cordovan Tawny the Ant, color number 8 Chrome XL Frank the Enforcer, natural shell Cordovan Frank the Enforcer, color 8 marbled shell Tawny the Ant, a black marbled with reverse interior Giant of the Fox, an Amaretto shell Cordovan Tawny the Ant, intense blue shell Cordovan with a reverse interior Giant of the Fox, a hand-sewn raw shell Cordovan Bugs Moran, English tan Dublin Giant of the Fox, color number 8 Chrome XL Giant of the Fox, English tan Dublin Fat Herbie, last and finally a custom Fat Herbie with cigar shell Cordovan on the outside with a whiskey shell on the inside, and this one's been hand-sewn with a contrasting thread. When I pulled out this Giant of the Fox, I was so excited to show it on the video because it's so unique and special. And this is a black, all reverse shell Cordovan Giant of the Fox. What's really cool about the reverse shell Cordovan is not only do we get this random unique dye mark on the outside and the Horween ink stamp, all these are totally unique and random. So each one is special, but the best part about it is the more you wear this, the better it's gonna get. And in my experience, this reverse shell Cordovan ages very dramatically. So what I see change is the color begins to darken and turn a little deeper in color. But what's coolest about it is the luster starts to change. So right now you can see it's pretty dull. It's got a small little subtle sheen to it that you might be able to see in the video here, but it's definitely not as bright and shiny as, here's a regular piece of shell. It's very mirror-like for the normal shell Cordovan stuff. The reverse side is not shiny. But when you wear this, it does get quite bright and shiny. So I have a watch band that I've been wearing, and this is also black reverse shell, if I can get it off my wrist. Take a look at how dark this watch band has become. It's almost like a brown now. I do see little bits of green in certain spots, but the patina that develops on this is incredible. And you can see this one has much more sheen to it. It's become bright and shiny. I haven't polished this at all. I've just been wearing it. So that's what I love about the reverse shell Cordovan, especially something like this Giant of the Fox. The way that this is going to wear in is absolutely amazing. So say goodbye to the limited edition Giant of the Fox, the Amaretto shell Cordovan, which is strikingly beautiful. It's so nice on the outside with a color 8 shell interior. I believe we made a dozen of these, and this is the last one that is going out today. So thank you everybody for supporting us with this limited edition Giant of the Fox. And those of you who have had them, already received them, man, tell me how awesome that Amaretto is. I don't think that you can capture just how special this color is in photos or videos. So hopefully you're loving yours already. Check out this black marbled shell Cordovan Giant of the Fox. And this is this sort of marbled that I like that doesn't seem to be as enjoyed as much by other people. I think people like a little bit more of a subtle contrast than me. This is very dramatic. So this black marbled goes immediately from a black to an orangey tan. And a lot of them are a little bit more subtle in the variation. Like here's a color 8 marbled. It's also a little bit on the dramatic side, but it's not as stark of a difference like on this black marbled, where we just have that, it's almost like a horizon line of color change. And for me, I just think that's the coolest. It always kind of remind me of a sunset for some reason. Maybe if it was this way, or like a landscape painting of like a eerie forest or something. I just think it looks super interesting. So I really love the black marbled shell Giant of the Fox here, and all of them are unique. So each time I pull one of these out, it's kind of like a special little treat for me. This is a color number 4 shell Cordovan Tawny the Ant. And for many years, this was my favorite shell color, and it's just totally nice. This color 4 is like a medium brown, with a little bit of red tone to it. It sort of has some of that orangeness that we see in the Amaretto. Like this is the Amaretto on the right here. I see a little bit of that underneath the color 4. Obviously this is much darker, but I think that's why for many years this was my favorite color. I just think it has a nice vibrance to it, and it's brown without being too loud. This is the Amaretto Shell Cordovan Tawny the Ant, and I still love this color. It's just so nice and vivid. It's like a bright tan with a little bit of orange in it, and I'm seeing on this one a little bit more of these red like overtones sort of on the surface that come out more or less at different angles here. So this is a really dynamic color, and it changes just depending on what angle you look at it, which I think is totally fascinating. More Amaretto shell on the inside. Again, we try to cut these ink stamps into the center because we think it looks cool. So this one's turned out really well. It looks like this is our last Tawny the Ant of the day. And this is that color 8 marbled I showed you a minute ago, with that really cool color range from sort of the burgundy, dark brown burgundy shade of the color 8, the classic color 8 shell on the left there. And then it goes to a little bit more orangey tan tones and everything in between. A nice little range of color. And it appears textured, but this is very flat and smooth. So I really enjoy looking at all these unique color 8 marble shells. And we have some more of that on the inside here. This is a little bit more of that dramatic contrast I was talking about on the very far left there, where it goes from dark to light immediately. And on the right, this is more of the shell we're seeing from the tannery currently, where it's a little bit more mild of a variation, where it's sort of like is one color as opposed to two colors with the stark line between. It's almost like it's a little more subtle from the current stuff we've been getting, but I like them both. I like the really dramatic ones personally. This is a natural shell Cordovan Frank the Enforcer. And check out the sweet luster on that. It's got a really nice bright shine to it, which is what you should expect from the shell Cordovan. It's supposed to look a little bit like a mirror. And on the back side of this one, we also have that card slot. So I sometimes forget to take photos of both sides of the Frank the Enforcer. But on the front side, we have 2 card slots, a middle slot that can hold cards, but also can hold folded cash right in the center there. And the back, 1 more card slot. The natural shell Cordovan wears in very well also. It's a little bit different than the reverse because it starts off a bit shinier. So if you're looking for the most dramatic change in patina, I like the raw shell Cordovan, which I have a raw shell bugs here. I like the raw shell and the reverse shell for the most dramatic change possible. Up next here, this is a custom Bugs Moran in that raw shell Cordovan, and the customization on this is the hand stitching on the outside, and again, hand stitching on the inside. But I love the raw shell because of how it ages. So you can see here on the right, this is my Fat Herbie with money just sticking out. But on this Fat Herbie, I wore this one for about a year, and you can really see how much that raw shell changes in color just naturally over time. It's almost like it's become a little bit more golden and darker. It's just like a different brown shade altogether, which is really cool. And the reverse shell Cordovan kind of wears in the same way because they are the same leathers. They just start at different colors. Here's a color number 8 Chrome Excel Frank the Enforcer. And this color 8 Chrome Excel we've been cutting from recently is just so nice. Take a look at that nice sheen that it has. Very perfectly polished Chrome Excel from Horween leather, and they've done a really nice job just filling in the grain on this and giving it a nice polish. It's smooth without being torn, which a lot of leathers can be torn if you polish it too hard. It almost makes the leather a little bit loose looking. So the Chrome Excel we've been cutting from is just incredible. I think it's the best Chrome Excel that I've seen in my 15 years of Horween experience. So I can't wait for you to have this Frank the Enforcer. Now here's another really cool black marbled shell Johnny the Fox, and I'm hoping that this one translates on the video because it's subtle, especially on the right side. It's a little subtle, but for some reason this one makes me feel like fall time. It's got these orange tones with very mild green between the green, and then it turns to black. So it's orange, then green, then black, and it's almost like there's little circles here on the left, and then around it, it's like it explodes in color kind of slowly. But man, it's like that all over the place. This really subtle color change all over on the backside of this wallet. I really hope that translates because it's very interesting in person. On the inside of this John the Fox, we have a reverse interior. And again, I like the reverse for how it wears in. Develops a nice patina over time, but you also get these random color marks all over the place. Just the range of color I think is really interesting. So here's another Johnny the Fox with a nice black reverse interior. We still have that great range of color and even some extra dye marks like on the bottom right here. I really like those, and I like seeing the Horween ink stamp. I think each of these being unique is really special for each person to have a unique wallet all to their own. On the outside of this one, we have a really nice intense blue shell Cordovan. And this intense blue is pretty dark. When I was first looking at it under low light, it almost looked black. But I can really see right here, it's a dark navy blue with like those aqua undertones that I really enjoy. So this is a really unique Johnny the Fox. I think there's only one left of these. This might be the last one. Can't wait for you to have it. Here's our best-selling wallet. This is the Johnny the Fox in English tan Dublin. I love the English tan Dublin. It reminds me of my favorite color, the Amaretto shell Cordovan, but on the Dublin leather. And this has just a really great waxy feel. The other thing that's great about the English tan Dublin and all of the Dublin is that it's a vegetable tan leather. And all veg tan leathers do develop a nice patina over time, including this Dublin. You'll see it change color, get it a little bit darker, but also develop its own little luster and get a little shinier. And here's our latest release on the Johnny the Fox. This is a color number 8 Chrome Excel Johnny the Fox. And the color 8 shell Cordovan color is the classic Cordovan color. So we've translated that color over to the Chrome Excel to make this really special Johnny the Fox here. And the difference that I see between the color 8 shell and the color 8 Chrome Excel is the Chrome Excel is a little bit more cherry. It's a little bit more vibrant of a burgundy as opposed to the shell, which is a little bit muddier in color. And I think that's just because the Cordovan is nearly half greases, wax, and oils. Just makes that color a little less vibrant, like on this Chrome Excel here. And this might surprise you, but of all the wallets here today, I think this might be the one that I would choose for myself. This is the English Tan Dublin Fat Herbie. And this Dublin here is a little bit darker. So we do see a range of colors in the Dublin. So this on the left, this Fat Herbie, is about as dark as it gets, and on the right is about as light as it gets. And the big difference in color is the surface color, and that's because it looks like this leather on the left has received a little bit more of a wax finish, a little heavier coat, that's making it slightly darker than this one on the right. That has just a little bit less wax on it. So we're not seeing that darker surface color. We're seeing closer to the undertone of the leather. So if you look closely at the spine of the Fat Herbie there, you'll notice that the color is roughly the same as this English Tan Fox on the right. So that's how we come up with the color for English Tan. We match the undertone color because most places are lasting this leather around a shoe. So the color they're really trying to match is that sort of pull-up undertone color. So even though they look a little bit different, and I know it's confusing, these are both English Tan. So I'm trying to take fresh photos of each batch of leather to well represent what we've got for sale in our shop here. I almost forgot my favorite little friend here. This is our key fob, and this is one in the Amaretto shell Cordovan, my favorite shell color. I didn't want to skip this one. We've been putting new hardware on our key fobs. This is actually an antique copper finish, which I think matches the aesthetic of the shell Cordovan a little bit better. So this one's coming your way. Last and finally today, check out this one. This is another semi-custom wallet in the cigar shell Cordovan on the outside. And this is a rare shell color. It's almost like the color 8, but with less burgundy in it. It's more of like a brown with little hints of red underneath. I wonder if that color will even show in this video because it's very subtle in person. It's almost like a raisin color looking at it here. So the cigar is different than the color 8, but not by much. It's just a little bit less cherry, a little bit less burgundy of color, more of a true medium brown, dark brown. On the inside, check this out. This is a whiskey shell Cordovan, also a very rare shell color, but this one has been hand stitched, and the customer requested a hand stitching on this. We charge a little bit more for that, which I don't like to offer normally because whether we hand stitch it or machine stitch a wallet, both of them are guaranteed forever. So I don't like to upcharge you if we don't have to. But if you like that thicker thread aesthetic, I'm happy to do it for you just for a small upcharge. But wow, what a great way to end the day here with this semi-custom Fat Herbie. Just really beautiful pieces of shell here. And the black all reverse. What do you think about the all reverse? It's pretty intense. I don't know if this is for everyone, but if you're a Horween fan, I think having that ink stamp on the outside of the wallet just might make it the wallet for you. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Until next time, have a good one.